Hello Aquarius and welcome, or welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot and it is time for June readings. I am using a new deck this time. It is the Magical Hours Tarot. I had to just check the box. It's that new. So, as always, these are general readings for a general Aquarius audience. That means it's not quite the same as a one-to-one reading. It might really resonate for you. It might resonate here and there. So please, just take what resonates for you and leave the rest for another Aquarius. I invite you to check out the videos for your major astrological placements. So that's your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign. Of course, check out the videos for any sign you choose. Knock yourself out. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle now. If you've been here before, you know that I fast forward the video over the shuffling part and get right into laying out the cards for you. So I am going to do that now. I will catch up with you as I'm about to get into your reading. See you there. Okay, Aquarius, let's see what we've got. High Priestess, the World, the Moon. Wow. Okay. Queen of Cups, Ten of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. Okay. That in better focus. All right. So this is the first time I've seen the High Priestess this whole series. This is the last reading I am doing this month. Saving the best for last. But I have seen the World about 4 times. And I've seen kind of similar, like new chapter, new start, fresh breeze, spring cleaning. That's been the general theme for a lot of us. And we see similar themes with your reading. So let's get into it. High Priestess, Queen of Cups. Similar vibes with these two, with this pair here, right? High Priestess, obviously the Lady Sage, all about intuitive wisdom. Is it weird that I'm getting a piece about ancestral knowledge here? So any of you who are getting into, I mean, obviously, if you're here, you're into tarot, astrology, that kind of stuff. Messages from your ancestors. If you haven't already done so, this might be time for you to let's get that in better focus here. If you haven't already done so, this might be time for you to find your, sort of esoteric calling, whatever branch you're into, the Reiki, astrology, tarot, whatever your branch is. You've got 2 cards here. Oh, and you've also got the moon here. So there's a lot here about you tapping into your wisdom, using your intuition, using your sort of, and I don't say this lightly because it's not always, it's not always where everybody wants to go, even though people like a little guidance. People come here for guidance. People come here for support. It's not always a path for everyone, right? But you've got a lot here about tapping into your own sort of wisdom, going this route. So if you haven't already done so, or done more formal training, or hung up your own shingle, so to speak, opened your own YouTube, TikTok channel, take it as it resonates for you. But between the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups, you know, this is the sort of the tarot saying, I meant what I said. She's the other version of the High Priestess. And then we've got the Moon here, which is the sort of wild child, you know, version of it as well, right? So think about that if you haven't already. It may well be time for you to launch. June may be time to launch. If you've recently launched, you might see some real progress, get some traction, go viral, something like that. Someone may ask you to collaborate if you are already sort of established or establishing yourself. Another sort of intuitive may ask you to collaborate, or that might be what you need for sort of next level. Consider collaboration or reaching out to someone to collaborate. Take that as it resonates for you. But there's so much here about sort of your intuitive life, your intuitive skills, your intuitive abilities. We also have the World here, which is all about a fresh chapter, new beginning. Not just a new beginning. I like to say, well, will you please? There we go. And not just a new beginning, but like a whole, not just a fresh chapter, but a whole new book. So you may be sort of graduating, getting a new job, like quitting the day job to go to do your online thing, or something along those lines. Again, with the Ten of Cups, we have a ending with a new beginning. So there again, and cups can be associated with your spiritual life. Now, I would say if it isn't about the esoteric stuff, it could be, for some of you, this could be therapy, because the cups, the Suit of Cups can be dealing with the emotional world as well. So there may be a piece about emotional health instead. The Moon as well can indicate, doing shadow work and this sort of Jungian approach to mental health, which, runs right up to the spiritual, esoteric life. Now, interestingly, the very final card we have here is the Nine of Swords, which does sort of hint at some concerns and worries. And look at that, there's that little succubus over the sleeper, kind of suggesting nightmares and worries. The thing about the Nine of Swords is it suggests, and I don't mean to poo-poo any of your concerns or your insomnia or anything like that, but it does tend to come up when what we're worried about is something that we are amplifying ourselves. So it's not that there aren't worries in our own world, but sometimes we have a stunning ability to amplify, our challenges and make them even more dramatic in our own mind. And that's what the Nine of Swords tends to indicate. So there's an inherent advice here in the Nine of Swords. And that is, don't let your very fertile mind make you crazy when it doesn't need to. You do have, real concerns, but they are negotiable. They are manageable. You can handle your, day-to-day stuff without losing sleep over what you're dealing with. Your mind does not have to make your life harder than it, more challenging than it is. So I would say that. And there's the element of that with the moon as well. There's a piece with the moon because, when you think of the moon, it's it's when we're dealing with life without light, right? We're dealing with life without the benefit of sunlight. So things can take on really weird shadows and shapes without the benefit of light. And sometimes we freak ourselves out under the influence of the moon because we're looking at something, but we're not seeing it properly without light. And so there's also the inherent advice with the moon that we should slow down and remind ourselves that we're not seeing things accurately under the moonlight, and to not make any hasty decisions until the sun comes out. So you've got this column at the end of the month here that whatever happens, you've got this beautiful column with the World and the Ten of Cups where things look really wonderful and bright. And then you have this other column where you might be inclined to make yourself a little cuckoo unnecessarily towards the end of the month, just due to a lack of light. You might be having some nightmares or something similar along those lines. But both of these cards can suggest that it's your mind that is, amplifying some fears and making shadows, making stories out of shadows that aren't accurately reflecting the truth of your environment, if that makes sense. So I think when July rolls around, you'll see again that the kind of fresh start that you get out of the World and the Ten of Cups will be sort of reestablished. So at the end of the month, when these sort of just kind of bookmark this or remind yourselves not to make yourself too crazy with whatever these two things are, because you've got some beautiful new beginnings that happen mid-month. Don't let them freak you out. Don't doubt them or be spooked by the challenges if that's what these cards are sort of pointing to. I hate to end on that because, again, these are really lovely. Maybe use your intuition or talk to your guides if that applies to you, your ancestors if that applies to you. I kind of hate to end on that note. Let's check the bottom of the deck. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck, let's put this over here in order. So the bottom of the deck has the Eight of Wands, which is news, invitations, positive response, messages coming in. So there's some sort of, following whatever this is. Just don't get too caught up in the bad dreams or whatever, uncertainty or lack of clarity here, because moving into July there will be messages, responses, positive invitations coming in. That's what the Eight of Wands means. Okay. Whew, I feel better about that. I just couldn't leave you on that kind of ambiguity, sort of semi-negative ambiguity. Okay. I hope that's helpful, Aquarius. If you like this reading, I hope you'll consider leaving a comment, like, share, subscribe. In any case, thank you so much for dropping by. Until next time, take good care. Bye for now.